Welcome back to the Non-Stop
Welcome
Podcast.
back.
Hey.
I was out there for like
no
8
fish.
hours straight just trying
Yeah.
to catch fish.
He's like trying to play it off.
I think it's men being
Okay.
with a lot of. Is that good? I say yes and no.
What's going on, guys? Non-stop team right here.
Brought a
Yeah, he bought like a
rotisserie, like, from Costco?
rotisserie chicken. He threw it in his class.
That says more about that might be part of the reason why they graduated you early.
I've seen him jerking off to them several times.
Said no to jerking off.
Where am I gonna be next year? Like, I'm like excited to see.
No, yeah, like
I'm like, bro, your dad's
Anderson Silva. That's crazy. I was like,
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys next
thanks,
time.
guys. See you guys. Peace.
I heard him on a podcast talk about how he dropped like millions into that campaign, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
I mean, even the podcast was part of his campaign, right? Like all those
Yeah.
podcasts and shit. Yeah.
He went on so many podcasts. He went on. Do you watch any podcasts?
I watched a lot.
You watch a
Usually
lot?
just Joe Rogan is my
Joe
favorite.
Rogan, yeah.
Joe Rogan.
You watch any like
Trying to
like comedy podcasts? Or not really?
I used to watch David Dobrik a lot.
David
And
Dobrik.
every now and then I watch that.
You saw
the
the
Zane map.
podcast?
No, but the guys that were on the vlog,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like Zane and all those guys.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
at least
They have a vlog, huh? I mean, they have a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I watch that here and there, but just usually the Joe Rogan one is my favorite.
Who's your favorite? Like, do you have like any favorite episodes from Joe Rogan?
Bro, I love when he has Neil deGrasse. Is that guy's name?
Neil
Neil?
deGrasse Tyson.
He's just
Yeah, he's smart.
so
Have you seen the one with
interesting.
Brian Cox?
Nah.
That was really good.
Which one was
Neil's
that?
cool though. Neil's really cool. That one's with Brian's like a astrophysicist.
Okay.
Yeah, he's cool.
The
That's
one-
probably my favorite.
The one that I always go
One of my
back to is the David Choey one.
David Choey.
Have you seen that one? David
That
Choey?
one's crazy.
He was like a hitchhiker.
Oh yeah, David Choey.
He's an artist. He was a hitchhiker.
Yeah.
His story's crazy.
He's to this day he's insane.
Yeah. He was in. Did you see Beef?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Beef.
Yeah.
I don't know if he took any money from that, but in the podcast with Joe Rogan, he said that he was in a Star Wars movie
Mhm.
and that he didn't take a payment, like he didn't get paid for it, like because
Uh-huh.
he didn't want to get paid for it. They told him he was the first person to reject a check from Disney.
Nah, he's a savage. He got lost in like the jungle or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Amazon now.
Yeah.
No, and
Not the Amazon.
was it the Amazon
Thank you, boss.
with the German guy?
Thank you, man.
Jerry Choey was talking about like.
He said he got lost with a German guy and that he almost killed him.
Oh yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
what I was about to say. Like,
Yeah. That he started
like he
going
was
crazy.
like crazy. Or, like the German guy was crazy.
Yeah, he was treating him like a slave, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that podcast episode.
Are we recording?
I think so. I think we're recording. Yeah.
Oh, sick.
But,
The
but
icebreaker.
but yeah, like you said you watch like Joe Rogan a lot.
Yeah.
Because I think that's like, because like when Joe Rogan first started out,
Mhm.
like, it's crazy how much he blew up, huh?
Dude, that dude, I thought, I'm like stupid. I have, what's it called? I'm like nearsighted when it comes to stuff that I like.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, I thought he barely got big recently, but he's
Really?
been like on Fear Factor and shit like that. He's been doing this for
Yeah,
a
he's
long
been for a
time.
minute.
Like he was an MMA wrestler, but he wasn't like
He was like a UFC. He was like a big UFC proponent.
really.
Yeah, he was UFC. He would go on talk show hosts and like promote the UFC.
Oh, okay.
Like
I thought
he
you
went on like, I don't know if you know who Conan O'Brien is,
yes,
but he like went on Conan O'Brien a long time ago. And
Like when he had
talked
hair?
about the UFC.
when he had hair
Yeah,
type shit.
he's been
Yeah.
on the scene for
Mhm.
a minute. I put my dad on him recently.
Yeah,
And my dad's older, so like, and he's Mexican, so like, I just told him that like, I think the coolest thing about him is just how unbiased he is to a lot of things. And
He's pretty unbiased. Yeah, I think I agree with
for
that.
sure.
It's
For
hard
sure.
to find like podcasters like that because usually you got like even with politics you'll have like someone that's really right wing, then everything you talk about is right wing.
Yeah,
This dude like just
Yeah.
anything.
just he'll have whoever on his podcast, as long as because there's people that've been on this podcast that got disrespectful with him, you know.
Yeah, a
Like,
few
talking
people.
shit.
Well, yeah, like not maybe not like disrespectful, but just like not very like good
Open-minded?
faith. Maybe not
Yeah.
like not very good faith.
Like they went on to do their own
Like
thing.
the what was it, the CEO from Twitter, right?
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
and like the CEO from CNN. The CEO or owner, whatever his name is.
the one that was talking about the horse.
Yeah,
the horse tranquilizer.
the horse
The
dewormer.
horse dewormer. That he told him he was using
Yeah,
horse
that guy.
dewormer.
That was crazy.
He got mad about that. For sure. But yeah,
Yeah,
We
but we
wanna-
have like what were you gonna say?
we want to talk to Eddie about his brand 310 offsuit, or is it just offsuit?
yeah, 310 offsuit.
310 offsuit?
Yeah.
How did you come up with that? Like the name?
It's a really funny story. It was initially just supposed to be 310 clothing. I was playing poker with some homies and they were like, "Oh, you just started it," and I was like, "Yeah, it's called 310 clothing on Instagram." And he went on it and he was like, wait, there's like 4 other ones. I was like, yeah, but like they like stopped existing like, you know, like 4 or 5 years ago. Like he was like, damn, it might be hard to find yours. You should like maybe add something to it. So that the problem was that on the back of the hats, I already had put 310.
Right.
So there was like, I had made
310
100 hats.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to keep 310 on there. And offsuit is a poker term when things are different. Like 2 cards are different colors or different suits. So it's kind of a play on words of like, you know, like we're trying to be different, trying to be unique. Right. So 310 offsuit is what we ended up coming up with.
And you were always poker? Like poker's your thing? You really like poker?
So it was funny because this all started during COVID.
Okay.
You know, we all had like a break in time.
A lot of time, yeah.
With my friend group, we would play soccer. And then at night there's nothing to do. So we were like, hey, let's come over to my garage. We'll play poker for a little bit. And that's when I started getting into it. And then I realized, I was like, wait, when you watch the poker, like YouTube, like you notice like a bunch of people in the casinos are wearing hats. Okay. No one's really targeted them with like, you know, like a
like
design.
Have your hat there, yeah.
And I was like, you know what, on a whim, I made some designs and then, I just started taking off little by little.
For sure. And I've never personally played poker. I know my dad plays poker all the time, like with my uncles and stuff. Yeah. How did you get into it initially? Like, was it just with your friends or before that?
So it's a big pastime, and with LA, it's different because we have a lot to do. But when you go out to like states like in the Midwest or like in the East Coast where it gets too cold to be outside, a lot of families just start, whether it's board games or poker games. Like it's a really big thing in the Midwest, the East Coast. I have a lot of family in Victorville, which isn't that far from here, but you know, like during Christmas and stuff, you can't really be out and like so like you stay indoors, you play poker with your family and stuff, just, you know.
Isn't it like a lot of people that play poker wear hats, no?
Yeah,
because like they try to like hide their faces and stuff
exactly,
like that.
And that's what we were targeting. So it was like not only was it just like an aesthetic thing, but it also has some, you know, usability, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
so it's like you get the best of both worlds, pretty much.
Yeah. So it started as hats, and then I see you have the hoodie on, and you have your drops and stuff. Do you plan on doing like anything broader, or do you want to just keep it contained for now?
So that was the thing when we first launched. The biggest problem was like, okay, what if I don't play poker? And there are also like those comments of like, you know, like, are you promoting gambling and stuff like that? And
yeah, for sure.
I was like, yeah and no. So quick story with it. My dad lost his job during COVID.
Yeah.
And we had, thank God, some savings and stuff. And my dad's from Mexico. So a lot of phrases that are from like the US and stuff, I teach him. In the time I had just taught him scared money makes no money. And my dad like started repeating, he's like, what does that mean? Blah, blah. I was like, well, I've learned from like rich people through podcasts and stuff that like at some point you got to take that leap of faith and
for sure,
you know, take a gamble on something, whether it's you move to a different state, you change a job, blah, blah. So me and my dad started up a paqueteria business. We're in downtown LA, and with all the money we had saved up.
Damn.
And when things were going rough, my dad was like, scared money makes no money, right? And I was like, yeah. And thank God, 3 years out now, we're doing good. We just opened up another office in Vegas.
Damn.
That's awesome.
So the thing is, yes, on the surface, it's a poker brand, but we like to think that we're trying to spread this message of like gamble on yourself, especially like as a minority that comes from Mexican family. At some point, to elevate your status or elevate your life in any shape, even if it's not money wise, you have to take that gamble on yourself. You know, like you got to move out from your parents' house and pursue something, or you got to, I don't know, just get yourself out of your comfort zone.
Definitely.
Even if it's not financially, you know, you gotta just take that leap of faith or take a gamble on yourself. So that's where we're trying to pursue. We're trying to take that message out now with our brand, more a step away from that poker thing and just kind of like, hey, it's like, you know, it's take a gamble on yourself. And yeah, that's pretty much where we're at right now with the brand.
That's badass. I like that. Yeah, that's badass. And you have the advantage kind of with the clothing that it's hats.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you saw Luis Chavez, the pro Mexican soccer player.
Yeah.
He's wearing your hats now. So that's kind of like fashion and style makes it everywhere, you know. It doesn't have to be, you know, one like oriented. So
how did that come about?
Yeah.
So it's a crazy story. My dad, crazy guy. He's in the radio business, radio station business for sports. So he gets a lot of media passes to games and stuff. So part-time is our paqueteria business, and then the other time he'll be doing media coverage of any games and stuff. So a lot of times you get access to the press conferences and stuff, you know. so he has a friend that from back in the day, he became the kit manager for Mexico. Like, you know, the guy that gives out the shirts, puts everything in the laundry, all this stuff. And he was like, hey, man, like, my son just started a clothing company. Is there any way we can give some hats out to the players? Mm-hmm. He was like, ooh, it might be tough. You know, a lot of these guys have sponsorship deals and stuff. Yeah. But, you know, I'll try. So I get my dad a couple hats, and I was like, you know, if it happens, it happens. If not, we tried. Mm-hmm. And this hat was like 6 months ago, the last time they came to California to play a game. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, never heard anything about it, blah, blah, blah. And 2 days ago, my homie calls me. He's like, hey, Luis Chavez, you wearing your hat? And I never put the two and two together. I was like, it can't be that Luis Chavez. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
So I was like, who's Luis Chavez? Like, the homie from high school or what? Like, he was like, no way, the fool that scored the free king in the World Cup. And I was like, what? He was like, I'm gonna send you the video right now. So like, sure enough, he sends me the video and Luis Chavez was wearing it. So I was like, wow. That's crazy.
So he didn't like even like tell you guys or nothing. He just showed up with the hat one day.
Nothing. My homie just sent me the video, and sure enough, he was wearing the hat. And
that's
cool guy.
That's awesome.
They were telling me that a couple of guys on the team like the brand.
Yeah. That's sick, dude.
But
that's
yeah,
amazing, dude.
And you got like a few poker players wearing it too, no?
So that was the biggest. Real quick, I don't want to ramble on too much about it. But
no.
We at my very first event. I had made 50 hats with the 310 on the back, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I had dumped all my money into it. And I told my friend, I was like, hey, what do you guys think about it? And they're like, it's cool. They're like, what does it mean? 'Cause mind you, this friend that I had didn't play poker. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, it's the best hand in poker. It's a pocket aces hat. Right. He's like, okay. He's like, it's kind of plain. You know? I was like, it's like, fuck. And then I told my dad, and my dad, same thing. He's like, you should add something to it. You know, it's kind of plain. Like, I was like, you know, like that's how I like to dress. I like plain, simple designs. You know, I don't like flashy, I don't like nothing crazy. Just clean. So I was like, damn, like, you know, what do I do with these 50 hats now? Like, you know, like I already made them. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go to this event that I was planning on going to anyways. It was a meetup game for this YouTuber. And I go there. I was already bummed out because my dad and my best friend had told me, like,
yeah, exactly.
You know. Yeah. And at this event, it took off. The main guy was running it was like, I was like, hey man, like I'm a huge fan. I watch your poker YouTube all the time, and I was like, can I give you a hat? And he was like, I'm gonna do you one better. And he turns around, and I don't know why I thought he was grabbing. And he comes back out, and he has a vlog camera. No way. And just on the spot, he goes, hey man, I'm here with my friend Eddie today. Tell him about your brand. Oh, and I was just like, what? Like, I was like, yeah, that's crazy. And so that shout out helped a lot. Yeah. And then from there we became friends, you know. He had just started his poker YouTube. So he had like 10,000 subscribers at the time. And now Wolfgang Poker, shout out to Wolfgang Poker. He's the biggest poker YouTube on the platform. He has 1 million plus now.
That's crazy. And wait, where was he like in his career, like when he met you?
Just started.
Just started.
Yeah, Dang. He must have had like it out for like 3 months. Okay. Yeah, Dang. It was crazy.
So you guys like grew together pretty much.
And that was a really, really cool part about it because like I genuinely liked his content, and I was like,
you're a fan of poker.
And I was a fan. I was like, hey man, like your content is different. You're taking more of like a modern approach to it, and it's very enjoyable content. And I was like, I can see it growing big. And he was like, oh, thank you, man. Like he's like, your hat's really cool. And I was like, we should have a collab project. And then we came out with another hat. Yeah, that's been our
I've seen him wear it. It has like the wolf on the back.
Yep, and that's been our #1 seller. We've sold out, thank God, like twice now.
Damn,
that's awesome. That hat, so it's been sick. Yeah.
How often have you dropped?
Well, that's the biggest thing with brands. It's a lot of money you have to invest in it. Yes. So, with that, we've dropped twice. He helped me fund the second drop, but the first drop we made 100 hats. Damn. And just to kind of test the waters, and then from there we re-upped again, an extra awesome. 200 hats. Okay. So now we're planning to come out with more stuff really soon, hopefully.
For sure. And I know you have a big, well, not a big emphasis, but you kind of made a comment about the Midwest and kind of East. Mm-hmm. But when I think poker, mainly I think Vegas.
Yeah, that's a good assumption. Yeah. They host the biggest poker tournament of the year, WSOP. So that's funny enough. Our whole year is projected to lead up to that tournament. Okay. It's like the World Cup of poker. Right. Okay. Where everyone like from all over the country, all over the world pulls up to Vegas and plays poker all week. So we're hoping that either thanks to Wolfgang, he's a direct associate now with WSOP, which is the
Dang, nice.
So we're hoping either we get a stand or
He'll
some
have your
type
hat
of
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vegas is
That's
number
badass. I
one,
mean,
yeah.
do you frequent Vegas? I mean, have you played poker in Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, here and there. It's funny enough that my girlfriend, she had never been to Vegas.
Okay.
You know, she had lived here all her life, and I took her, and so the couple of times I've taken her, I haven't been able to play much.
Yeah.
But she loves the whole thing, and
You like Vegas?
Vegas is dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once
Hot in the
once a
summer,
while.
cold in the winter.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those cities you can only be there like a couple of days out of the week though. My
Yeah.
dad goes out every other week now because of the business out there.
Right, right.
Okay.
But yeah, I like to come like 2-3 times a year.
Yeah. Yeah, Vegas is cool. Do you like are you in any type of like gambling or something like? Because I know like when people go to Vegas, like all they want to do is gamble. Like at least some people.
Yeah.
Or play poker.
Yeah.
Like, do you have fun? Like,
It sucks, man. We were just talking about it, and I feel like you guys can probably agree, but they say that anyone that knows how to do math knows that
yeah.
you're not supposed to gamble.
You're not
in
supposed to
Vegas.
gamble. Mhm.
It's just the odds are against you. So I hate blackjack. I hate roulette. Like
Yeah.
I won't touch it.
Yeah.
Poker's a little bit different because you
Mm.
play against other people. It's
Right.
not,
Yes.
you're not playing against the house.
Right.
But yeah, you know, in moderation, it's
Yeah.
fun.
And you like poker, like, you like it quite a bit? Because I got into poker like
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think poker's like, I think it's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the stakes and stuff, especially when you play with your friends.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really fun.
That's I think that's the biggest portrayal I like to give of the game.
Yeah.
I think the best way I describe it to my girlfriend, because she doesn't know it much either, it's like I told her that men in general, we have a
Yeah.
hard time of just, you know, like girls' night, you know, like
Yeah.
Right.
girls can just
Chill. Yeah.
invite each other to their houses, have wine, watch a movie, and it's
Right.
chill. Men really
Yeah.
can't do that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, so our alternative is, hey man, come over, let's drink a beer, play poker, and that's the way I like to kind of tell my girlfriend. Like that's
poker's
usually what it's like. You know,
Yeah.
like it's a cool pastime for like men to get together. And
Yeah, yeah,
hang out
exactly.
with your
For
buddies
sure,
and
yeah.
you know have fun. Yeah, that's the best way I can describe it.
So yeah, so you're more of like a together kind of guy with your homies, not really like a high stakes Vegas kind of guy.
Nah. That's we've seen like people in that world, and Wolfgang tells me all the time. He's like, it's a dangerous game. Like
Yeah.
if you
Maybe one day, right? Who knows?
down the
I
line,
mean,
retired. Yeah, down the line.
when you got fuck you money,
Yeah, that's honestly when you're
Dana White money,
yeah, exactly. That's when you're supposed to play like that.
right?
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
But I mean, yeah,
People have fun gambling. Like those type of people, they just like, let me put 10 G's on this.
Yeah,
and if it,
it's-
like, I mean,
no,
have you
they're
seen
crazy.
Drake?
I mean, if
betting
I
$500,000.
if
like
I had
it's
fuck
nothing?
you money, I'd be a DJ
Exactly.
too. You know,
Yeah.
it's easy to them. You know, it's you see him just dropping $1 million, but then he makes 42 million or
Yeah,
something.
Drake's like
that.
going on stake and like gambling.
Yeah.
Oh, he just makes 500,000. I'll take it. I'll take it. Like, what do you mean you'll take it? Like, that's $500,000.
I'll take it. I'll take
He's like, I'll take it. I'll take it. All right. He's like, no, man.
change.
Yeah.
Change.
Do you have
400 down.
you have a favorite poker player? Because I know there's like some like really good ones. I only know like a couple. I know
Yeah.
like Daniel Negreanu. Is that his name? Negreanu?
That's
Negreanu?
that's literally the best one.
He's like the best one. And then there's other like a few. I've seen poker.
Yeah.
I just I have trouble remembering names,
Yeah.
especially when I haven't seen poker in recently.
Yeah.
But like who would you say?
So I think people say Phil Ivey's the best one. He's
Phil
like,
Ivey, yeah.
He's like the Tiger Woods of
He's like the Tiger Woods.
poker.
Yeah,
He's a baller. But Daniel Negreanu is probably like the most
Yeah.
charismatic and
Yeah, he's
easiest
cool.
to follow. Funny enough, I always when people ask me like what it took to like get the brand off the floor, the two biggest things was Wolfgang Poker with
Yeah.
that shout out.
Yeah.
And then Danny Negreanu, funny enough, also shouted us out
No
Damn.
way.
on a poker vlog, which was insane.
That's sick.
And it was the same thing. I met him at a tournament. I was like, hey, man, like, I'm a huge fan. Can I give you this hat? And same thing. I honestly don't know what it is. I kind of pivoting away to another message I like to give out. It's like, you know, clothing brands are cool and it's saturated market and stuff. But, like, what I can always push for is starting your own thing. You generally don't know how far you can take something until you try it.
Okay.
With Negreanu and those stories that I have, I think the biggest thing was that, like, people, especially older people, like to see young people try. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Especially if they're like, because they in some way that like they kind of see themselves in you.
Exactly.
They're like, yeah, you're trying. Like that's what I was. That's how
Yeah,
I was.
and at these events and stuff, you'll meet these guys and they'll be like, "Oh, I love the hunger and desire. Like, you're going into a tough market,
Yeah.
for
For
a lot
sure.
of competition." And it's like, I think that's been the number one, I guess, like help in terms of those shout outs and stuff. When I got that shout out from Danny Negreanu, there was some poker YouTubers there. They're like, "Do you know how much that shout out costs?" And I was like, "No, I have no idea." He's like, "At least 15 grand.
Fuck.
And I was like, "Damn." And I just got it free. And sure enough, it's on his YouTube. So,
That's
Nice,
that's
dude.
awesome.
That's really nice, but yeah, that's really good.
That-
Dude.
what's-
Yeah.
what's-
You didn't
what's-
get, you didn't get it for free though, because your attitude, your like
exactly.
Yeah.
your drive, like that really like
You
know,
can tell, yeah.
awesome for you, man.
Yeah, it
like,
was-
that
Because you're like
keep that up,
actively,
'cause
you're
you're-
actively
yeah,
going
you're
to
actively-
these places
like,
and
it's
like
not
putting
free. It
yourself
takes
out
a
there.
lot
and
of-
most people don't do
it
that.
takes a lot of effort.
and
to
I
do
think that's
that and get
like,
that stuff.
I think that's my favorite part about this because people tell me what's next with it, right? And I have no idea.
Yeah.
Either eventually maybe try to sell it to WSOP or we try to, I don't know. But what I've taken away from it, it's like, it's scary to start something, but I promise you, it's a grind. I'm not gonna say it's always pretty, but it's amazing when you have passion for something, and it works,
And it pays off.
and people kind of give you respect for it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just beautiful. Like and it's so scary to take that first leap of faith, but once you do it, whether or not it works out, you learn so much from it, or you meet a lot of people from it.
Yeah. In terms of setbacks, have you had any like that?
A bunch, man.
Kind
Yeah,
of made you feel like, man.
we I just through TikTok I found out that you can try to go through Chinese manufacturers, and I tried it, and
No.
we spent like upwards of like $2,000 on hats,
Oh
and
my
it
God.
became out horrible.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
so you learn you can't really take shortcuts in this.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I could tell you're really like present and really like confident about what
Yeah.
you're doing, but that also kind of leads me to believe that you're not really in it for the money entirely.
Okay, and that's another beautiful thing I've learned from this. I truly, like, you hear it from like wealthy people all the time that you're supposed to chase passion, not money.
Not money. Okay.
And if you chase money, it'll never work out.
Yeah.
I told my friends that, like, when you have a business, it's not a 9 to 5. It's, 9 to 9 p.m.
Yeah,
9
yeah.
a.m. to 9 p.m. Where like
Yeah.
you're gonna work a lot of hours for free,
Mhm.
and the only thing that's gonna keep you going is your
Your
passion
passion.
for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just don't get into the money for this stuff. Anyone trying to do a clothing brand out there, like, understand there's a lot of competition out there. Don't be afraid if you have an idea that you think will work out, take it, but understand that you're gonna have to work a lot of hours for free, and just be prepared for that, because I think it's easier said than done. A lot of people hear like, oh yeah, I'm down to do it, but when it gets time to work, and it's like,
Have you ever experienced like tunnel vision, or are you experiencing tunnel vision where you just kind of have that in mind? You're not really worried about anything else going on the outside. You're just kind of trying to get things done. Do you go through that?
I played college soccer, so
Okay.
I think that prepared me a lot. In soccer, we have this saying of like, the game's done, now we're on to the next game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think I have that mentality with the brand or anything I do with business. It's like, okay, that worked out or that didn't work out, wipe it off, because if you keep everything like there, you're gonna crumble.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that worked out, that didn't work out, learn from it, and then it's like, okay, what am I doing tomorrow with it? You know what I'm saying? So I guess in that sense, yeah, it's like a tunnel vision of like, just learning from your mistakes and applying them, to keep trying and learning. And yeah, a lot of it comes from that soccer background though. Like, you can't always expect things to go well.
Yeah.
And when they don't go well, you got to have that mindset of like, it's fine, let me try it again. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's probably the best way I've approached this brand, because like I said, it won't always be pretty.
I mean, it seems like kind of just good or bad. It just seems like an experience to have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taking you places. I've seen, like, you've been in like Japan and stuff, and I've seen your brand in Japan and stuff like that. What is that? What's that like?
Like I was telling you guys earlier, I think it's one of those things where, like, even if your venture does not succeed, you either learn a lot from it or you meet a lot of people from it. And thank God, from like these events and stuff, I've met really successful people who have offered me already internships, whether it's through real estate or there's like certain media teams that cover these poker events, and they're like, hey man, like, there's this one guy that invited me to go live in Vancouver, I think it was, Canada.
Okay.
And I've never been out there, so I was like, maybe, you know, like I'm not opposed to it, but let me just, you know, the whole thing with the brand right now is that I'm giving myself up until I graduate from college to see how far I can take it.
Yeah.
And then from there,
Okay.
we'll see. Yeah.
So, what, like, kind of like, because a lot of people would kind of crumble under the first, like, sign of pressure, and a lot of people would, like, not even, because are you, like, a first generation, like, did your dad come here?
Yep.
Okay, so, and you were born here?
Yep.
So, you're, like, a first, so, like, a lot of people would kind of not even try to do this.
Yeah.
What in your life has led you to kind of not focus directly on, like, the standard, like, go to high school, go to college? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of people wouldn't even try this.
I think it's a lot of it.
What drives you to do something different? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's all about education and environment. You know, where you come from,
right?
And what you can know. You know, unfortunately, a lot of kids from my area, you're kind of taught this mentality of like, get a job, and if you need more money, get a second job.
Yeah.
Right.
And through experience, you know that never works out. You know, like you get paycheck, half of it goes to taxes, and then half
so
goes
yeah,
to your
like
bills.
so instead of you know, yeah, exactly, they're get a second, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of like try to find a
environment,
different way,
Yeah.
like try to do something for yourself. They're just like, yeah, try to get a different, yeah.
And so
try to afford your next paycheck. Anyway,
for sure.
like,
And from conversations and stuff, you realize, because I saw these things when I was young, and I was like, I don't come from money. You know, like my parents came from Mexico. We grew up in Harbor City, so like, you realize from stories that working 9 to 5 will not cut it to elevate in life. So like
some people just can't do that. Like some people are just like that 9 to 5. It's like great, but like I just something more.
For sure, and like no hate to the 9 to 5 thing.
Not at all.
Yeah, but
there's
there's
a lot of people that we need to work 9 to 5, but
yeah.
Some people
and that's what I say
just
all the
can't
time.
do that. Like
for sure, and like I was telling my buddies all the time.
I don't know.
With me, it was like you're gonna have to work a 9 to 5 if you don't come for money. Like there's no two ways about it. But the thing is, what are you gonna do with that money? Are you gonna save it? Or
Exactly.
Unfortunately, a lot of our generation, all of our like people from our country, are like buy a new truck or like you know, and it's like they're making $500 payments every month, and it's like,
how much are you paying on your car?
Yeah, it's like, come on, like like we don't have assets. You know, like it's like if you come from like a first generation family, we need to be that generation that creates it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's like, instead of buying that, you know, $50,000 car, let's start a business. You know, like let's.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's an awesome message, honestly. Like,
let's take a leap.
Because really,
from a first generation immigrant, like just start your business. That's awesome. Honestly, I think that's awesome. Like, that's why America allows like immigration, like that's starting a business, like being like
entrepreneurial,
being an entrepreneur, just being like fucking just killing it, like yourself. Like that's awesome.
And more than that, more than anything, I mean, he's killing himself, but like he said, it's about the passion. Because if you, like he said, if you work with 95, you get another 95. The more success,
like the better for you. Like that's awesome. Like just get rich. Like
because with those two jobs,
awesome. Like,
you're like, what are you spending? You're spending a lot of time. But what are you? Like he said, what are you spending that money on? He's spending time on something that he loves, on something that he really enjoys, and he's just gonna let things happen how they happen. You know, he's not really concerned with the now. He's more concerned with the next thing, like he said, on to the next. Sure. So what is like?
Honestly,
it's really like, what are you spending your time on? Because what is that going to lead you into? I guess, right?
Yeah, I think the environment also plays a huge role.
Any kind of
for sure.
Like especially if you grow up in an environment where, like you said, like a lot of people are just
complacent.
You need to do this, you need to do that. Like, don't
get a job,
don't think about, you know, you're probably not gonna get rich.
Don't think about how you can get rich. Exactly.
Like if you start a business, it's gonna fail.
Get a second job. But like just find a way to meet that bill. Like just find a way to meet that payment. Like it's crazy that like people don't say like try to like do like try to prosper.
For sure, I think especially when we're younger, if people put you in a mold, you tend to only want to fit that mold. It's kind of like, this is kind of corny, but it's kind of that saying where like,
for sure, like
if you put a shark in a goldfish tank, it'll only stay the size of a goldfish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to slowly yourself, or hopefully your peers, help you realize that like, honestly, the sky's the limit. Especially like you said, in this country where
like
there's
opportunity is everywhere.
it's
like,
insane.
Did
So,
you
like,
face any like? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no,
Go ahead. Like, but did you face any like pushback from like your community or anything like that? Like,
for sure.
Did you?
And I think it's human psychology of like, I feel like you guys probably experienced it too, where like, oh,
Dude.
he's trying to do that, like it's not gonna work out.
Yeah.
Know?
Right.
It's like, just dude, like you're spending all that money on that, it's not gonna work.
Dude,
And it's like you
that's
have
crazy.
to. That's our mentality, unfortunately.
Do you think?
Unfortunately,
Do you
dude.
think that
That
is like specific or more prevalent in one type of demographic?
For sure. Yeah. I think, and it comes back to that environment thing. I think if you've never seen it, there's no way you can believe it.
There,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
you won't believe it. Yep.
It's funny that you say that because like the reason that my family, like my parents,
Yeah.
left Mexico,
Yeah.
was because of that mentality. Like that, I don't know what it is. Like I don't know if it's just Mexico or if it's like some sort of like, because we're full blood Mexicans. My brother and I, like my parents. Well, I mean, probably some Spanish in there, but like we're born in Mexico.
Yeah.
And like my parents left Mexico because of that like mentality where like they see you like rising up, they see you being successful, and they want to pull
They
you down.
want to pull you down.
I don't know why that is, but like that's why we moved here. And it's like it's funny you say that, like, but it's so true. Like it resonates a lot. So
I mean,
Yeah.
this
it's
is
pretty. It sucks. Yeah.
it sucks because it's something personally that I hear a lot within the Mexican community. It's like we always try to pull our like each other down, like
Yeah.
our own
I don't
people
know
down,
what that is.
and it doesn't
Like,
make any
I
sense.
don't know what that is.
I think
But it's
yeah,
crazy.
it's I don't know, and unfortunately, like the people, like people just
Have something to say.
like
They always have
like we're
something to
so
say.
like we're lucky
Mhm.
to be in the environments that we're in, because if we were in a totally different environment, like we could be completely different people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those people, you can take any example, like either whether like you grow up in you're in a gang, or like you grow up in a violent neighborhood, like you're just more likely to turn out, you know,
how that mold in that mold,
environment, right? And so
Well, like yeah, and I think part of that is really like what Eddie said. It's gamble on yourself.
yeah,
It's gamble on yourself and take that leap of faith.
Definitely.
It shows that he's really like you can't really be scared to do, like he said, the sky's the limit, and you just kind of got to believe that and kind of believe in yourself,
yeah,
because you don't know how things are gonna end up, but you just, if you're present and if you work towards it, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be there.
And it comes back to that education and environment factor that, for example, my dad is probably one of the smartest men I've ever met. But even he struggled with that aspect of like, unfortunately, Mexicans, we like to, you know, we make $1,000 and put it in your savings account. Hold it.
yeah,
And it's like, hey, like, you know, you can use that 1,000 to start something. And it's like, no, because that's not going to work.
yeah.
You know,
not safe.
I've seen so try to do it and it didn't work out. So like,
Yeah.
why would I try to do it?
Well, yeah, exactly. They tell you like, why would you try to do it if he tried?
And it comes back to that environment thing where like, I fortunately was able to, my parents moved us into, this is funny, but into Torrance, where like the kids are different, you know, like they come from parents that are lawyers and this and that. And they would be like, hey man, we're going to come over. Do you want to come over to my house? And I had come from an environment. It was only apartments. So I'm there. I'm like, what do you mean? Like hang out at your house? Like what? Like, they're like, yeah, bro, come over. We're going to have a game night. And you would go over and you see these huge houses and like, and I'm like, what? Like, this is possible? You
Yeah.
know, like, and it's like, what did your dad do? And it's like, oh, he went to college, he became a lawyer and this, that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, oh, he,
Owns a business.
he started up, one of my friends started a AC business here in Torrance.
Oh shit.
And, yeah, they do AC for this company and this company and this company. And now they're well off. And it's like, you know, and where my old city, it was like, oh, I'm going to grow up. And when I'm 18, I'm going to work. And then I'm going to get my dream car. And it's like, okay, then you got your dream car, then what? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like, and that's the biggest factor. I was like, it's just environment and education. With my dad, thank God, like from what I've learned and what I saw from my friends, I was like, hey, Dad, like, you know, so and so did this, we should try it.
Mm-hmm.
And just out of like trust, he was like, yeah, all right, let's try that. Like,
Damn.
did that business, and it worked out. And it's like, we always laugh about it because it comes back to that stupid saying of scared money makes no money.
Mhm.
Yep. But it's
Analysis paralysis.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, especially and what you're doing now,
Mm-hmm.
representing, like I said, like representing your country. It's awesome because there's not a huge portion of immigrants, that like want to
Take that risk.
take that risk. Yeah, exactly. Want to take that risk, and start a business because, I mean, they're just scared. They're
It's
scared
dope.
to do it.
It really is dope because you could. I mean, this is just the beginning. I'm sure you feel that way. Like you've already had some share of success, but you're not even near
Oh no, for sure.
near finished.
And it goes down to that thing of like, I funny enough, I watched that Kanye West documentary. I don't know if you guys watched it.
Yeah.
The Genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it called? Yeah. And what I got from it was like, I think you have to have a certain amount of delusion.
For sure.
And it's like, if you think about it, the greatest athletes of all time are really delusional people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you have to find that balance of like, you know, like I can do that, but also know that it's going to take work to get there. You know what I'm saying? But you see these documentaries of like Michael Jordan, Kanye, and the way they speak of themselves. The Kanye one was my favorite because like they would document him like going to these like meetings where he was like, hey man, like let me rap. And the rappers at the time
to the studios and stuff.
Yeah, the rappers at the time who were huge were like, nah man, just make me my beats.
Yeah, it's like, who are you? Huh?
Yeah, and I can't even name you those rappers, you know what I'm saying? And it was like Kanye would leave the studio like defeated, but then he would be like, oh, they don't know I'm one of the best rappers of all time. And it's like you have to kind of have that level of like a little delusion. And it's like I don't know it will be a success. You know, there's never a certainty to it, but I can promise myself that I'm gonna try as hard as I can. So.
Well, that's the thing. This doesn't, like, what you're doing doesn't have to be a success, but you could still end up as a success regardless of that, you know?
For sure. Yeah.
Like, it's not, that doesn't define you, you know? Your failures don't define you, really.
For sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. And those partnerships that you have going on, that's honestly crazy. Like, who would you like want to target first? Like, are you like targeting like actively? Like, do you like market to these people, or is it just like kind of like right place, right time?
For sure, right place, right time.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite sayings is the harder you work, the luckier you get.
For sure.
And if you put yourself in enough good spots, eventually something good should come out of it, you know? I think if you're kind, and I know it's corny, but if you're a good person and you work hard, eventually something good has to come out of it.
Yeah.
But I think too many people lose, either they don't see the vision or they lose faith in it and they stop trying. But I think for sure, right place, right time, and just, you know, try to get yourself in that right place.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you're like a sports guy too, right?
Yeah.
You love and you're more of a soccer guy.
Yeah,
you say like soccer is like your main sport that you watch.
Soccer, yeah, for sure. My girlfriend's recently got me into NFL.
NFL.
Yeah, so I've been keeping up with. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I've been having such trouble keeping up with like the NFL. I don't know what it is, honestly. Soccer for me is too hard to keep up with.
Dude,
Just because there's so many leagues, so many games.
For sure.
I will 100% watch the World Cup.
Yeah,
I know, but
and I think that's for sure. It's coming up.
It's coming up.
Yeah, we're gonna be the hosts for one of them.
Yeah.
Mexico too,
I don't
Canada
know why.
too, right?
I was watching Shane Gillis podcast, and he was talking about how like he was having a lot of trouble keeping up with the NFL and watching NFL. He said that the Madden games used to look a lot like games, and then like now the actual football looks too much like Madden or something like that. Like he's like they're pouring slime on each other.
Yeah.
Like he's like, what the fuck is going on with this shit? He's like, I can't watch this.
I started with soccer because I grew up my dad just soccer.
Yeah.
But I love sports. Like any sport that you get me into, I'll probably get obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I like soccer. It's a lot to keep up with, but what got me really hooked was FIFA.
For sure.
I would play FIFA and I would learn the players, I would learn the teams, and now I have a good level of ball knowledge just because of how much I keep up with it. And then NFL right now, this was probably like my biggest NFL year.
Yeah.
Just probably because I was like in fantasy leagues. I was doing like all kinds of stuff in there.
And that's what I was going to say. I think when you grow up in LA, it's such a sports city where like if you don't learn the sports, you're going to be left out.
For sure.
I've definitely,
100%.
I've gotten into more football and stuff.
It's
Baseball,
part of the culture. Baseball I have to get into.
I was just in Japan, and I never knew this, but Japan's #1 sport is baseball.
Yeah.
They love it
over there.
Love baseball. And crazy enough, the Dodger hats out there are sold out right now.
Really?
So my friend's aunt was like, hey, can you please get us some Dodger hats? And he's like, which ones? He's like, just the blue one with the LA sign on it. And he was like, all right. And we found out that they're like reselling out there for like $60, like each one's. And it's like, yep, all thanks to Mr. Ohtani.
With the Shohei craze, yeah.
I'm excited to see what he does.
I heard that he like is like not actually getting the full like amount.
Yeah,
he did a weird deal.
He
did
deferred
like
it.
$3 million dollars or a year or something like that, and then they give it at the end of the year or something like that. I don't know.
And he also like deferred some of that money because he wants he wants the team to keep building and stuff too.
And doesn't he have like I heard like he has a mom and like his mom controls all of his finances? Did you hear about that?
I didn't know. I did not heard about that.
I heard something about that. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know how like Japanese people are super like they're super focused. You know what I mean? Like they're like super disciplined.
Yeah.
And so like I wouldn't doubt it. You know if that's actually real. But also baseball. I know there's sports. There's definitely some sports that are harder to watch than others. No.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean baseball.
Like I'd say, I don't know, maybe baseball.
I'm sure baseball fans have like I'm sure baseball because me with soccer, I know if I love soccer, but soccer can be boring sometimes.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
the games can stall out and there's just nothing going on. Same, I'm sure baseball when they're like 0-0 into the ninth inning.
Yeah.
But that's when it gets exciting, you know, because you never know who's gonna win. It's kind of like a shootout.
Also, a lot of games in baseball. Yeah.
The biggest thing with Ohtani though, it comes down to that nationalism of like, for example, with us, I'm blanking on his name, but the guy that's playing for Miami Heat, the Latino,
Jaime Jaquez.
Yes, it's crazy like how it's easy to support because there's so few Latinos in the NBA.
Yes.
So like when you see him, it's like we're rooting for that guy, you know, like, and that's how it goes for Ohtani back home, where like
I'm even like that with football.
for sure.
There's no.
It's very few.
I don't know of any big name Mexicans in the NFL.
So that was a funny reason. My dad's was a Jets fan because of their quarterback back in the day. Can't remember his name. Do you guys know his name? The old Latino quarterback for the Jets?
Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez.
Sanchez.
Yeah, there you go. Mark
Sanchez.
Sanchez. My dad was like, I'm a Jets fan because of that.
Sanchez.
So like with a lot of people talk about it, but with that deal with Ohtani, baseball's huge in Japan already, but you know the Dodgers are only gonna grow in popularity because of that signing.
Did you like the Japan, by the way?
Oh, it's amazing, man.
Dude, we have to go to Japan.
It's a dream. It's a dream of mine to go to Japan.
What did you have in Japan in terms of food?
Everything.
How's their ramen?
Oh, amazing.
Ramen is Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ramen is Japanese.
Amazing.
We love ramen. The ramen here is good, but I can't imagine how it is in Japan.
Everything lives up to the hype. Like everything, and it's crazy. It sucks like how little we know about them. I don't know if you guys knew this little current event. 2 years ago, their prime minister got assassinated.
No way.
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Bro, when they told me out there about it, I was like, "You're lying. Like we would have heard of that in the U.S." And they're like, "No, he literally." And he was like beloved. Like he was like super popular within the Japanese
culture. Did they catch the guy?
So crazy. The video's online. The guy that killed him made a homemade shotgun because in Japan there's no guns. Like it's so outlawed.
Controlled.
So the guy in his garage made a shotgun and they have like pictures of stuff on it.
Wow.
Online.
No
and
way.
there's the video of the guy just going behind him. And
What was his motive? What was his reason? He just didn't like the guy?
It's I looked into it because I was like, bro, it's such a interesting like
For sure.
like what like
I never heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, you know, don't quote me on this. I did do my research, but
Yeah.
there is a very popular religion in Japan where to be a part of it you have to give annual fees, and it's like a belief where like if you donate X amount, God will forgive you and return you that.
Shit.
You know, so a lot of people, yeah.
I think I've heard something about that.
So this particular guy, the guy that killed the prime minister, his mom had got into debt with that religion. She had donated over like $1 million or
Oh
something.
my God.
Crazy.
And she was like, I can't take it no more. So she unalived herself.
Damn.
And her son just grew like really bad hatred for that religion. And in his what is it called, like when they leave that note behind,
Manifesto?
the manifesto, he explains, or he was like, you know, like I wanted to leave a statement where I was gonna try to go for the council of the religion, but it's just too many of them and I would have gotten caught. So he's like, I know the prime minister had good relations with them and I knew it would create a statement. Crazy enough, just the craziest fact about this, a lot of people call it the most successful assassination of all time, because ever since that prime minister got assassinated, the government kind of cut ties with that religion.
Wow.
So like, it's not as powerful as it was when.
Right.
And he died.
Yeah,
The guy died. The assassin died.
I know they put him into jail. We were
Okay.
just talking about how, I don't know if you knew this, but the prime minister in Japan got assassinated
Really? Recently or
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
And I was like, how?
Homemade shotgun.
Recently. Yeah. Well, wow.
And we
I think I
never-
heard about this. Yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
had never heard about it. So when I was out there, and I was like, what the heck? But yeah, I mean, the country's beautiful.
Yeah.
Crazy enough, they're going through really bad inflation right now, where
Like us.
100 yen used to cost $1. That was the conversion rate.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's 150 yen for $1. So it's 50 more yen for your dollar. But because they don't, my buddy tried to explain to me, but he said that they don't really believe in inflation. They try to like hide those inflation numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So they just increased tariffs for exports and stuff.
Okay.
So the prices kind of stayed out when you're out there. They keep the prices really similar to what they used to be. So
Yeah.
your dollar is like really good out there. Like you'll be
Wow.
able to eat like
Yeah.
a full day's worth of like meals for like $20, $30.
Oh,
Shit,
shit.
That's all. That's
So
How
it's
much-
pretty-
pretty good.
How much was it to get out there though? Like round
It
trip.
was expensive.
Yeah.
You gotta like
Expensive.
plan with time. Usually like $1,000 for a round trip, but if you do it with
That's not
time,
really
it's like
that
800.
bad, though,
Yeah, it's
$1,000
not that
I
bad.
thought they were a lot. I thought
I've-
it was like twice as much.
I've heard you don't want to go like in the summer over there when it's summer over there.
Yeah,
It's more expensive.
I guess. Yeah, I think the most expensive time is the cherry blossom time.
Yes.
the springtime, but yeah, I usually go during the winter just because that's when we have that college break.
Yeah.
I also hear it's super clean there. Is that true?
Oh, it lives up to everything. A lot of people describe it like as like after you go to Tokyo, you realize how dirty other like cities are in the
Oh my
country,
God.
in the U.S.
Are they like racist at all? Like,
Yo.
did you have any trouble getting into bars at night and stuff?
No,
No,
I
okay.
think
But did anybody look at you funny? Because I feel like Japanese people,
Japanese
And-
people are racist, I think.
and I feel like a lot of Asian
no,
countries.
Asian. I feel like Asian countries
Asian
are like they
countries-
really
So,
like to be like all Asian.
I was gonna say
Like,
that.
when you go to Asian countries,
Yeah.
like you don't see like any mix. Like you see all Asians.
I wouldn't say it's
It's not a bad thing.
it's
though,
not
but
hatred
I'm just saying.
racism.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
more like
Cultural
Curiosity.
maybe?
Exactly.
it's like
Curiosity.
no, what's the word? It's not uneducated. It's like you're
ingrained or I don't know. Like,
you they just don't know.
You're just out
yeah,
of
like
place.
they're just
You know-
ignorant. Like they're just ignorant or like
Ignorance is the word I was looking for.
Right,
They're
okay.
ignorant to like other
Cultures.
cultures and races. You know, like
Right, right.
yeah.
and it's there's none of us out there. So like
Yeah.
Also, yeah,
It's the same way. Like
Japan. Yeah,
when they
Japan's
come
hardcore too.
when
Yeah.
they come over here,
They-
it's like super shocking, you know. And so I feel like if I were to go over there, I would have no idea what's going on. you
for
know?
sure. And I didn't meet a single other Latino. I was there for
Really?
3 weeks,
Mhm.
and I went everywhere, like everywhere.
Yeah.
Never saw another Latino.
That's crazy.
The first time I went out there was right before COVID hit.
Right.
And I remember it was so funny because I would go down the streets and kids like would turn their heads and like just look at me, and it was like I said, it was never hatred. Funny enough, some of them would come up to my friend and speak Japanese and be like, "Hey, that guy's like fashion is pretty cool," or like
Mhm.
that, like they would compliment
Sure,
me,
yeah.
but because I was so different, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
they just don't know. Like,
they just don't
right,
know.
yeah. Mhm.
But yeah, it's a whole different world. It's crazy.
What
so
about,
were you? My bad. Were you with your friend the whole time?
Yeah,
And-
my best friend lives out there.
Oh damn.
We met here playing soccer, but he was born out there, so he can't stay here permanently. So he'll
Right.
come back and forth.
And so having him around, did that facilitate for you?
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Yeah.
communicating with people.
So I was gonna ask you.
Japan's one of those cities where it's like kind of like the best way to describe it. It's kind of fucked up, but it's like a ant colony where like
Yeah.
everything runs really smoothly.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you
And-
feel- yeah.
And everything is so facilitated for the people there. Like, I remember my buddy got sick when I was out there, and I was like, I don't want to waste a day in Japan, all day outdoor, like indoors all day. So I was like, I'm gonna go check out the city,
Mhm.
And I was able to get myself around. You
Damn.
just kind of have to know the big name cities
Mhm.
and just maybe a couple words. in
Did you get
Japanese.
around on the train?
Yeah, that's what I was
on,
gonna
on
say.
the
like,
metro or
it's-
train.
it's-
Did
pretty
do they have like
self-explanatory.
English like for everything or no? Do you have to like kind of
There's
ask around
English
or-
for the name of the city,
Okay.
Right.
but like you see the map and it's kind of like okay,
Yeah.
like numbers.
It's pretty easy to get around. Like,
Yeah. It's
And I-
it's self-explanatory. for
And I
sure.
hear it's super
That's
like. I mean, it's super quick. Like they have the best train and metro systems in the world.
so
Yeah, we went to
Facilitated is
we
the
went to London last
Uh-huh.
year.
Yeah, we went to.
okay, sick.
And London is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
it was the best like public transport that we experienced in Europe for
Mhm.
sure. Like, we
Yeah.
went to it was England, France,
Italy.
Italy,
Switzerland.
and Switzerland,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and and England has it down for sure.
Yeah.
So like, but like
England's
then
got
you
it
get to like Italy, and it's like, is this the right train? But like, it's like, yeah, it's kind of confusing. But yeah, that's cool that it's like easy to understand.
To add on to that subject,
Because some countries do not know how to make it easy for foreigners to understand what
Yeah.
the fuck is going on.
I think that's my favorite part of Tokyo. It's like, I wish, it's kind of depressing when you come back to LA.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because like even though Japanese people are very introverted,
Yeah.
because of how no one has, like, you have to be like really rich to have a car out there. And
Damn.
even if you do, it's like kind of pointless because it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
Public
It's a very,
transportation.
Like, you can walk around.
yeah.
Like in
Yeah.
Europe, yeah. Like you don't need a car. Like
So the thing is that like everyone's I mean,
it's walkable and
yeah,
like,
I had my
train,
my Apple Watch on that day, and I think we walked like 5-6 miles like
Yeah.
in one day, and it was like you meet people just walking around, you know, like, and it's people are just grocery shopping, and you'll
Yep.
see 1,000 people, and it's like
Yeah,
here in LA, like, you know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do your errands, and it's like you're kind of alone all day, like
Yeah.
you think about it, you know, like
Here's the
Everybody's,
thing
like,
about that, though.
Everybody's A to B. Like
Here's the thing about that though. You have to
nothing in
remember,
between. It's like
we were talking about this like when we went to Europe and we
Mhm.
came back, like this is exactly the same thing we were talking about. Like
Mhm.
everybody in Europe is outside, like because everything is so
oh
like,
yeah, one
together,
thing we were
right?
talking about.
But
Yeah,
also
is like fucking the city like LA is fucking enormous compared
Yeah.
to like cities like France.
Yeah.
even not just LA,
Like
but
Paris,
like
I mean,
the
I'm sorry,
US.
Paris.
The US is like as big as Europe. You know what I mean?
for sure.
Like the US is huge. We have
It's bigger than
we have
Europe,
so
like-
much
it's
land
massive. It's
Yeah.
massive.
No,
that
I'm
like
bigger, but-
we don't have like this like tiny like city
I mean, London is
like
huge.
Tokyo, you
to
know
be
what I
fair,
mean?
like London is really big, but like the main parts are like much smaller than like let's say LA County, or like I'm trying to get from here to like downtown. It's
Yeah.
it's bigger than like Paris.
Yeah.
It's huge. Like Paris is tiny compared to like LA County.
Yeah.
So that's one problem that we have.
Mhm.
Our fucking countries is huge. Not a
But
problem.
another thing is that everybody's walking,
But-
so like here, like there's a lot of like we have a lot of health problems and a lot of
that's
obese
true.
people.
Yeah, that's true.
and but like
For
I'm
sure.
sure in
We have a lot of
Japan
fat
there's
people.
not that many people, right?
So that's
Did you see a lot of fat people?
no, none,
No.
no.
Yeah.
And that's
What?
the thing too, like where my friend's grandma's, she's 88,
Yeah,
and
nice.
you wouldn't be able to tell, like,
She's like what does
and
she
it-
look like?
bro, she looks like probably
What would
maybe
you
like
assume that she
65.
is?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
It's
that's
crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it literally just because they walk so much, and you know they have a clean diet as well, but
How's the
Exactly.
portions over there?
smaller for
Smaller.
sure.
Do they eat like often throughout the day, or like maybe like lunch?
Me and my dad were just talking about this, and it's
Mhm.
crazy because we have so many misconceptions. I don't want to spread false, you know.
Nah,
I'm just going off
whatever you
off
think,
of
like-
what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the lady drinks every night.
Yeah.
The-
That's I
and
don't think
she's
that's
So
and
does
she's
dude my
she's 88 and she
Why
looks
not,
so
bro?
good. So like we have this misconception of like, oh, wine's bad or la la la. I think,
like alcohol will kill you. It's a poison and stuff like that.
and
yeah.
she was explaining to me
Yeah,
anything
it's
everything
bad.
in moderation for
Everything-
sure. But
that's what.
what I attribute it to a lot is the diet and then just how much you walk. Like
Mhm.
I'm telling you that on average we're walking like 6 miles a day. Like if you
Yeah,
ask
she was
someone,
with you? She was
Huh?
like keeping up with you and
she
stuff?
would go with us like to eat and then she would go back home and then me
Okay.
and my friend would go out to like the downtown area
Okay.
and walk more. But yeah, she would walk like 2-3 miles with us. And so like
Perfect. Yeah.
you
Idiot.
ask if you ask like unfortunately like anyone like in LA like, hey, when's the last time you walked 3
Fuck
miles?
no. Yeah.
Yeah, to my
dude.
car.
People walk to your
Yeah.
car, to the
Yeah.
store, back to your car.
Yeah,
That's
for
it.
sure. And
That's
that's
literally it.
And so like
If you go to the mall on the weekend, you might walk a little bit
yeah,
more.
for
throughout
sure.
the mall.
And that's what I was
Like,
going back to.
geez.
Like that's the depressing part because it's like when you're forced to walk, you're forced to interact with people. You know, like
Mhm.
and that's the beauty of it. Like if that's the one
Really,
dream I
really
have.
nice.
I'm a LA like diehard to like, you know.
Mhm.
But if I was a mayor or something, I would try to make it to where like downtown is where everyone goes to party. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We don't really have like a
Cause
spot.
fuck, dude. Cause LA at night is fucking a nightmare. It's fucking
Yeah,
like
and
it's
just-
just all homeless people.
Yeah,
Literally,
and,
it's like,
yeah, and
go to
just
LA
going
at
out in
night,
general.
you go to Hollywood at night. It's all homeless people. Like it's crazy. Like
And like you said, it's too
Hollywood's
big.
yeah,
It's too big.
Going
Like,
out.
LA's city. Like I mean, like yeah, but like you go to downtown LA, like you want to like have a good time, like but you're gonna run into like hordes of homeless people.
there's always crime.
It's crazy. Like
There's always crime. Every time I've been into LA, like around night, I always see cop cars, ambulances
yeah.
It's
There's
like
always
that.
crime, there's
It's like
always
they
homeless,
don't want
like,
people
there's
to,
always
like,
overdoses.
to be out.
to gather. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
it's like one of those things where like I think that I wish someone would cause some type of change where like whether we have an improved subway station where it's like in Japan, for example, right? It's crazy. The clubs are open till 6 a.m. and the last train goes at 12:30.
Damn.
So you at till like 10, you have to make that decision. Hey man, am I
Yeah.
gonna party till 6 a.m.
Okay,
tonight,
yeah.
or am I gonna like head home early?
Yeah.
And in LA, it kind of sucks because like you'll go out with your homies and it's like, damn, I can't drink too much because I'm like
I had to drive.
I have to drive or
So
like
we drive
Uber,
everywhere.
and like
Yeah.
like so it's like
Mm-hmm.
you kind of like it kind of hinders like how much fun you can have.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Yeah.
So like we're in those cities, Japan, Tokyo. I'm sorry, I'm assuming London, New York. Even New York
Yeah.
City is probably the closest thing we have to it.
Mm-hmm.
Where like you can get around in subway stations. Like I hope soon. I heard LA's doing like a fast rail from like LA to Vegas.
To
That'd be
Vegas.
cool. Yeah, I used to take the train in LA all the time, like
Yeah.
from Hollywood to here, and yeah, here's what you would expect.
I hope we can normalize it though. I mean, with
That's what
like
you would
traffic and
expect,
stuff, it'd be
mhm.
sick if like
Mhm.
somehow.
It'd be cool if they would like make more trains. Like
Yeah,
honestly,
for
like
sure.
just like whole like just like make a lot of trains, like a lot of trains. But
Yeah.
like, it would be cool if they would do that. You know what I mean?
It improves a lot of parts of like
yeah.
society.
Because
It
then
makes
like just like don't like if you didn't need to have your car, like a lot of people would benefit from not
But
needing to have
metro,
a car.
like,
Well,
definitely
like
a
you
metro,
said,
right?
interacting with people because
For
these
we
days
sure.
have, we have buses, but like the buses, they're like kind of like I don't know, they're not the
they
most
make like a
reliable,
like a 20-minute drive 2 hours. So it's like it
Exactly,
sucks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
You-
sure
we
in
need
like
to have
Tokyo,
like a lot of trains
Yeah.
would be the best.
'Cause I'm sure in
a lot
Tokyo
of trains.
is like
A lot of
probably
trains.
similar to Europe in terms of like their trains and metros and stuff like that, where
For sure.
the nearest train
So
or metro, I
streamlined.
mean,
in
it's
Europe, you can get
you know,
around
it's
so
2
easily.
minutes away.
Like in Europe,
So
yeah,
easy.
you get around so easily.
And if you're
sure
here in
Japan
LA, in the
it's
LA
probably
area,
easier. Like
you're in a part where a lot of people live in parts where the metro or the train is 45-minute walk, and I mean, why would they walk that?
Yeah.
If they have a car,
just drive. Yeah.
I honestly think it's gonna be a thing only our generation goes through. I feel like if you're a person in power and you experienced one of these cities, you see that like with the potential LA has already, like we have the weather, the beach and stuff. If we had a functioning transportation system, like we'd have the best city in the whole world. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people already
LA
consider LA one of the best
yeah.
cities in the world.
it was really cool.
But I hope that like within the next 20, 30, 40 years, they innovate that for the next generation because that would be sick
yeah.
for sure.
And Europe is like we really liked London. I don't think it was one of our favorites, right? Like London is cool if you really like history.
Yeah.
Like if you really like
So it's, like,
history,
old?
London is
The thing
awesome.
is,
Yeah.
like,
Their food is not great though. Their food is not great.
Can't
though.
think of an English.
Yeah, the food is not great though.
The English breakfast,
Yeah.
the fucking tomato and the beans.
Beans.
Yeah, but I think Italy and France was our favorite. I mean, because France, you got some of the best food in the world. Italy, you got pizza and
Dude,
pasta.
the Italy, bro.
It's so
It's just
amazing.
like it's like. Have you ever been to Mexico City?
Yeah, bro.
Go ahead, bro.
You need to go to the bathroom.
No, I'm good.
You ever been to Mexico City?
Yeah.
You have?
I played for I don't know how much soccer you know, but I played for America's Academy.
You did?
For,
Oh,
like,
you did?
That's fucking
yeah, like
almost
8 months.
Dude. My dad's an American guy, so
Oh, sick. Yeah.
yeah,
So like we were in
so am I,
Coapa
yes.
for like
But
6
Oh,
months.
shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, wait, from 17 to
That's
like 18.
cool. How old are you right now, dude?
I'm 23.
23.
Yeah.
I'll be
Uh,
23 in
Which was a while ago.
a few months. But
Mexico City's
that's
huge.
cool, dude. Mexico City, like I was born in Mexico City. My parents
Oh.
were born in Mexico City.
Oh yeah, sick.
So like it's beautiful. It's awesome. But what was I gonna say? I don't know.
I gotta get out more. That's what I gotta say. I've only been to Mexico. I've only ever been to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like one of the best. I know it's corny, but like
I went to
travel, you have to, man.
my family's
Mexico
from
City is
Michoacan.
awesome. Yeah, one
That's
of the
where I
7
went,
wonders of the
Michoacan.
world is there. No,
What happened?
one of the 7 wonders of the world is in Teotihuacan. No,
Yeah, for sure.
the pyramid.
We were just
I
funny
think-
enough.
yeah,
Me and my
yeah.
dad were just talking about Mexico City, how like it has one of the most concentrated amount of museums in the whole world.
Really?
The
like,
museum is
beautiful
fucking
museum.
awesome because
Yeah.
the Spanish came there and they built over everything, like all,
Yeah.
over all the
Oh.
Aztec. Like when the Spanish got there, they literally built over, like they used like the pyramids and the ruins as foundations.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they literally started like digging like on the like street, like on the normal like regular street they would see.
That probably helped
They started
preservation then,
digging,
right?
Like, and they like, huh?
It probably helped preservation.
It's cool, yeah. You can go there and like you can walk around like it's crazy. Like you literally go down like into like ruins and like you can see like just like how they used to live like underground. Like it's underground now, but it wasn't then. It's pretty crazy. You should. Have you ever been to Mexico City? and you're Mexican.
Yeah.
So you should go to Mexico City
I really
and see
should.
like what happened with your ancestors, because they have like really cool like museums. Yeah, like he said, like that you can go see like how the fucking Aztecs lived and how the Mexicans like. Because you look pretty Mexican, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Because Patrick and I look kind of like Spanish, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you
we look
guys-
kind of white, but you look more like indigenous.
Yeah.
Your family, your whole family looks more indigenous
my
than we
dad's
do.
brown, bro. That's brown. He's like,
It's not 100% indigenous. Like you're somebody in your timeline probably had
some European in there.
spent a night with a European, but like you guys definitely look more indigenous than us, right?
Yes, for sure. For
yeah,
sure.
like you're more brown. Like yeah, that's pretty much.
You know, I was playing for that.
Oh, that's you.
He played for
Dude, he played for America, yeah, like the academy.
I was young.
God.
6 months.
What was that like?
That's cool.
What was the level of competition like?
Yeah.
So, it's so funny. It was all thanks to a coach named Gil. Rest in peace. He passed away recently. He had this really cool program called Alianza, and it's every year in San Bernardino. They host a tryout day with like 10, 15 scouts from all over the country. Mexico will come, and 300 kids will play 11v11 games in front of these scouts.
Mhm.
And eventually they make a cut of 22 kids, and they play one final game in front of these scouts.
Okay.
So from there, I got scouted by one of the America scouts. He told me to come through, and I was on trial for 3 weeks. And then we had Christmas break, and then I came back for 3-4 months.
Wow.
And the greatest experience of my life. I was an America fan since I was a little kid.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And so we were in Coapa, which is really close to Azteca, the
Yeah.
Casa Club.
Yeah.
But it was a dream come true.
Yeah.
But you realize that, like, when they say it takes a sacrifice to become a professional, it's not like, it's not taken lightly. It's a huge sacrifice.
Yeah.
We had to stay in the Casa Club up until you're 18. And so this
What is that? What is that? Like, that's
it's a house just
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the academy kids,
Okay.
where if you don't live in Mexico City, they house you in there. But
Dang.
it's imagine this garage, like the garage, and it's just bunk beds on bunk beds on bunk beds,
Dang.
and it looks kind of like a jail cell. Like,
Right.
Oh my God.
and at 9 p.m. they take away your phone, and it's nights out. You wake up. You're not allowed to go to the city by yourself. You have to have a chaperone. So like, you wake up, go to practice, eat. You eat, go to practice again, come back, and it's however you can entertain yourself.
That's
And
crazy.
Damn. And you didn't like. It just wasn't for you.
It was too much. So
Yeah.
I was very lucky that on my trial, we scrimmaged the U23s. And I got really lucky. I scored a hat trick against the U23s.
shit.
And it was like one of those days where like everything was just going
Everything
right.
just went well. Yeah.
Like I took a shot from like 18 yard out and it like just hit upper 90 twice. And it was just like, what? Like I didn't know I could do that. And the scouts were watching and they're like, hey man, like where are you from again? I was like, oh, like California, blah, blah, blah. And like the problem was that like you're competing against kids who have no other option, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so when I was out there, like, although I was pretty cool with the kids, they realized like, hey, if he makes it, that means, Jorge or someone has to get cut.
It's like a cutthroat mentality. Yeah.
And so it's like, Jorge's been with us for like X amount of years. Like, we can't let this kid come in easily, So like,
Uh-huh.
they would hide my cleats.
Really? They
shit.
fucking you like that?
You have to, bro. Like, it's one of those things where like, I don't know if you guys experienced it, maybe like at a camping trip or something. When boys live with only boys,
Mhm.
it's a fucking,
Gets hostile.
it's like a jungle, bro. It's crazy.
Right,
like,
right.
the bathrooms are dirty. Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Like, and
Yeah.
so during practice, they make sure, like, that you're not welcomed, bro.
Like you're
Like,
the
Te dejan
outsider.
un recuerdo.
for sure, bro. And it was hard. Little by little, I was getting their respect and stuff. But I think the hardest part was just like, the homesickness, the fact
Right.
that they told me that like if I went back, I would have to train with the U18s until I turned 18,
Fuck.
which was another 6 months. And I was like, damn, I don't know if I could live there for another 6 months.
Right.
Like my phone taken away at 9 p.m. Like,
They take your phone away at 9 p.m.
yeah. So like it was a
Holy.
curfew, and you have to put it in a box, and like
Because they just want you to get like sleep, right? Yeah.
yeah, and it was
Like,
like
go to sleep.
there was no liberty. There was no freedom. I thought I was gonna go to Mexico City and I was gonna be able to like train, and then I'm gonna go check out the museum.
You had to eat what they give you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like it's a lot of regimen. And when you're in the U.S., you realize how like fortunate we are.
Fuck yeah.
And it's like
there's no discipline here.
Yeah, it's none. But then there's also like it's like no discipline, and then like all the discipline. Like there's a middle ground. You know what I'm saying?
There's a middle ground for sure.
And I think I experienced what I needed to out of it. I used to say I regretted not staying because they had offered me. They're like, hey, like you'll stay with the U18s until you turn 18, and then from there we either send you to a tercera team, which means a third division team, where you
where you go up, yeah.
But they're affiliated to America, or if you're good enough, But that's America's not known for getting academy kids up.
Yeah, it's rare.
It's rare. Really rare. So I was like, I got to be honest with myself, and am I gonna be strong enough? I was like, I don't know, and there's a lot of things, and I already had a college out here that was gonna
help you,
give me a chance. So I was like, I'm gonna try that out.
Do you know any kind of pros or near pros that you met over there in the academy that are kind of?
It was crazy because it sucks to say because like it's the truth, but one of the best players at the time was this lefty. They call him, I don't want to say it, but they call him Negro, like, and he was beast, bro. He was a savage, destined to go pro. But he was telling us that like to make that debut with the next team that was up, because you don't go directly to the first team. They have like rankings.
Yes.
Primera A, Primera B. I forgot how it goes, but to make the next leap, the coach was asking for it was like $500 to make his debut, which in pesos is a lot. Like,
yes.
Right. Yeah.
And the kid just couldn't afford it. And he was like,
fuck.
So like, he was like, man, like they're asking me like for this amount of money to get, I'll be on the bench, but like to actually hit the field, like you got to pay. And if it's happening at America, just imagine like,
right.
But one of my favorite memories is I was training, and it was the time where Piojo was still there.
Damn.
Piojo Herrera.
Did you meet him?
And he would watch us practice. Him and Diego Lainez, I remember, I'll never forget this. Him and Diego Lainez were watching us practice during that game that I scored the hat trick. Whether they saw it or not, I don't know. But yeah, to this day, my favorite story.
Fuck.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That's crazy.
That's actually crazy. That you actually like. I mean, were you like, oh, like shit, they're watching me. Like I gotta.
Bro, for sure. And honestly, I tell my dad this all the time. I wish I have pictures and stuff, but like, it was one of those things where my dad would tell me like, just focus on the game, like, because I was telling him, I was like, I really want to have someone to record the games, and my dad was like, nah, just focus on the game. If they realize you're doing that kind of stuff, they're gonna think you're not focused. And but I generally would give up everything I have to get a video of that game, like just to show my pops. But yeah,
that's crazy. So soccer is your number one sport, or like the sport you grew up with, and you're trying to get into football. Is there any other sport that you've been into, or like you'd like to get into? Because I think we're in like a few sports
for sure,
but not like just like a handful. You know what I mean?
So
there's only so much you can.
Most of my like family lives in Victorville. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Ryan Garcia's from Victorville, the boxer.
Yeah, the
boxer.
So boxing's huge in Victorville. I love boxing. UFC.
UFC and boxing, yeah.
Oh, you like,
I love it, man. If I wasn't a soccer player, I'd definitely be a boxer.
Really?
I love it, man.
Wait, would you rather, I mean, do you watch both the UFC and boxing?
Yeah, both.
Any preference over the two?
UFC for sure.
UFC? Yeah. UFC is awesome.
This is a crazy story real quick. I went to El Camino College.
Yeah.
And we were training one day, and I was one of the captains of the team. And it was going to be my second year. And this kid tried out with us, and he was tall, lengthy, really skinny. And it was kind of my job to get kids under the wing because, it's scary to, like, try out for a new team, and you just don't know. So I go into the guys, hey, man, like, what's your name? He's like, oh, my name's Kalyl. I was like, oh, nice to meet you, man. Like, how you liking the team? Blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, I like you, blah, blah. A week goes by. Every day I'm trying to, like, talk to him, just hanging out. Hey, bro, how you doing? Practice, We have our first game, and a huge crowd is building up, like, by our thing. And we would have, like, 20, 50, like, people show up to our games, but, like, they all kind of concentrate into one area. I was like, what the hell is happening? So we're warming up, and I go over, and it's Anderson Silva, the UFC fighter. And I'm just like, what the hell? What is he doing here? And I say it out loud. I was like, what is he doing out here? And Kalyl, he goes, oh, that's my dad.
Yeah. What?
I was like, bro, your dad's Anderson
dad?
Silva? Like,
that's
what the
crazy.
hell? I was like,
my dad.
I was like, dog, what are you doing playing soccer? and
I'm just trying it out.
Funny enough, we talk all the time, but I like to think that after that conversation we had, I was like, bro, you literally have a golden ticket to life. Like, pursue this UFC thing, bro. Like, like, I know maybe you might like soccer more, but it's a grind to go professional in soccer.
Yes.
And like if you pursue this UFC thing, bro, I'm pretty sure like you'll get a golden path up to the top.
Well, he could have the best trainers now, like the best kind of, like he could be best prepared,
for sure. And I was telling him, I was like, why not? He was like, I don't know if I love it all the way yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, like I just telling you, bro, from experience, because I was a little bit older than him.
Right.
I think like a year or something. But I had been pursuing soccer a lot longer. You know what I'm saying? I came from Mexico. I told him like trying to go pro in soccer is damn near impossible, bro. Like if you have an opportunity for UFC, take it.
It might be the hardest sport to go pro
for
in,
sure.
right? Yeah.
I would like agree. Like it's so competitive, and you have to know a lot of connections, a lot of people. And I was like, I was telling him, I was like, you have the best connection possible. Like pursue this UFC thing. And
But I'd say like props to Anderson Silva for not forcing his kid
Yeah.
for sure
to go down his route.
Letting him branch
Because
out, yeah.
maybe he's had the talk with Anderson Silva,
For sure.
like that, but like I just don't want to do UFC, you know what I mean? And he's like, no, I'm not gonna force you to do anything.
Crazy enough, after his first season with us, Kalyl ended up dropping soccer. And now he's kickboxing, I think.
Damn.
And every day he's posting that he's training with his pops.
That's a start. Yeah, that's a start for sure.
He's looking into going to the UFC soon.
Shit.
He looks like a savage, man. Like if I think he's gonna be a good fighter.
Any predictions on or did you watch the last UFC fight? Who was it?
It was Sean Strickland.
Yeah,
Duplessis.
Strickland.
Yeah.
Dang.
I had a hot take. I thought the dude had deserved it, but I guess I was wrong. A lot of people said Strickland got robbed.
Yeah, you thought Duplessis deserved it?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, okay,
I think so, too.
I thought it was a
Yeah.
hot take because I said it to the group chat and I was like, bro, you're crazy. Like, Strickland got robbed, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know. The dude was...
It's because UFC, since it's show business, it's not all showy like WWE, but it's definitely show business where it's like popularity matters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Duplessis kind of got in trouble. Not in trouble, but he kind of like dropped points because of what he said about his dad and like his growing up. And people didn't really like him about that. But I for sure agree. I think he, Strickland had his moment, but it was a little late,
Yeah.
He had a lot of takedowns,
Strickland?
right?
Yeah.
Duplessis?
The guy did enough. He fought a really good fight.
Yeah, he did. He was locked in, you could tell.
Favorite fighter?
Right now, Sean O'Malley. He's pretty cool.
O'Malley?
Sugar Sean?
Yeah,
he's
he's
good.
cool. I like him.
You think
about-
Connor's coming back for 300? They
He-
said he might.
I don't think it'll ever be the same.
For sure.
Yeah, I
Not
don't
for
know.
like
He's
yeah,
doing
for
movie
sure
too
not.
now.
Me and my Irish buddies talk about it all the time. Through the soccer thing, I met a lot of Irish kids, and they said that golden era where he was popping off, it was just insane. Like he literally had the whole country
That
on his
golden
back.
era was just insane.
Yeah, and apparently no one in Ireland likes him right now. So
Really?
yeah, he's like people call him a bellend.
What about Paddy Pimblett? I heard a lot. He's a fan favorite too.
He's not from Ireland. He's
No,
from
he's England.
England.
He's from Liverpool.
Yeah, from Liverpool.
Liverpool.
He's cool.
He's
Wow,
Scouser.
He's cool.
He really bulks up like in the off season.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
that's
when
crazy.
He's not, and he
Yeah.
just
He
slims
bulks
Yeah,
down.
he's
up.
crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that can't be healthy, can it? Like
Bulks
just
up.
to like
I
for your
mean-
weight to fluctuate like that.
I don't know.
I don't
That's a
know.
good question.
I don't think that's
know.
healthy.
Sure.
It's because well,
That
depends
fucks
on
with,
how extreme he goes down. I think.
or how extreme he goes up because he's always said he
You're right,
prefers
but
to
I
be
don't
fat.
think he
You
goes
know?
that extreme. Like, because there's some Photoshop fake pictures
Yeah,
of him,
yeah.
like,
There's
really
Photoshop
fat.
for sure.
He doesn't get that fat. Like he gets a little bit like.
I don't know if you guys heard about
But,
this,
like-
but with the whole weight loss thing, did you guys hear what Ryan Garcia said the other day about how his fight against Gervonta Davis, he had to lose a lot of weight?
Oh yeah, there was
It,
like
it caused him to have some problems with his ribs or
For
something.
Sure, yeah, dude, that shit is not healthy. Like cutting weight for fighters like that, so extreme like that, is not healthy.
But they were saying that like because of how much weight he lost, I maybe don't misquote me, but I think he said his bones got frailer or something, and that
Whoa.
he got a rib injury during his training, and that
Yeah.
during the fight, that's the whole thing, that he had the beef with his promoter because someone from his team told the other team, "Hey,
They leaked it. Yeah.
target his ribs. His ribs are not good right now," and that's how
He got a liver
watched the
shot.
fight.
Yeah.
He got hit in the ribs, and
Yeah, that's weird.
so it was an interesting topic with that whole weight loss thing.
I love boxing, but I'm having a hard time.
Getting into it.
No, I'm into it, but I'm having a hard time just kind of keeping up with it because, like a lot of the big names, my favorite boxer is Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Because I think one of my first boxing fights that I watched was the first one with him and Deontay Wilder,
Oh, crazy fight.
and Canelo too. And like we say about Mexicans, we drag each other down, but there's a lot of trash being said about Canelo because because he takes easy fights, they say. And I feel like boxing is just going away from that showmanship, and it's becoming more of a tactical sport. Like they're leaving the Pacquiaos, and they're going more towards the Mayweathers, where it's like
Crazy enough, maybe I'm wrong, but it's been like that for the last, I would say, like 5 years.
for sure.
But really recently, like really recently, I think with the whole social media thing, people are getting called out about it now. And it's like a lot more than before. You know, Mayweather time, everyone's like, hey, bro, like you're ducking a lot of fights.
Yeah.
But like it just wasn't loud enough because social media wasn't that big.
Yeah, it wasn't that prevalent.
But
It wasn't
nowadays, like if you duck a fight, you're gonna hear it for the next 2 weeks. You know, so like we have Tyson Fury fighting
Ngannou.
No, he's fighting Usyk.
Usyk, yeah.
Which is a big fight because Usyk's a good fighter. And he was avoiding that fight as long as he could,
Yeah.
but he just, you know, he pressed him hard to it. And I think people are realizing that like with cells and stuff, you can't avoid a big fight no more.
No,
So
it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
not to like pivot off of it, but like I think it all goes down to like what Jake Paul has done with the whole YouTube boxing scene. You realize like you got to give the fans what they want,
Yeah,
and if you do that, like
Yeah.
you're gonna get views. You know, like you're gonna get eyes. And as much as people try to diss him for like saying it's not real boxing, I think
Right.
it's caused a stir in the real boxing scene where it's like
Definitely.
we got to take something off
They
of what he's
gotta- yeah.
doing because he's doing something right.
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't know why. I used to be a big Jake Paul hater. Like I used to hate on Jake Paul,
for sure.
like me caía gordo.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But the more he does it, the more I could kind of see that he's really about it.
yeah, for sure.
And I don't know, like obviously he can't take champs right now.
Yeah.
Like, and for his early fights, well, like I don't know why people expected him to take, you know,
For
like,
sure,
just
no.
some beast ass boxers. I think he has a good fight coming up though. No,
Yeah, maybe.
he's gonna fight
He
soon.
started fighting real boxers.
Yeah, exactly.
I think people don't realize that, like with boxing and stuff, especially someone like Ryan Garcia in Victorville. You were hearing about Ryan Garcia when he was like 14 years old.
Yeah,
Like boxing is one of those sports where like kids do it when they start like at like 10, 11 years old. So it's like for the guy to take on boxing and in 3 years done what he's done, it's like mind blowing. Like it's generally you got to give credit where credit's due. Because boxing is one of those sports where like when you're fighting against guys that have done it literally their whole life. And it's one of those things where like boxing's all technique, you know,
Yeah.
like so if you're fighting against a guy that's had 10 more years than you to develop that technique, it's gonna be hard.
it's gonna be hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
boxing
for sure.
is 100. Like boxing is, I think boxers are so fast though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like they're
fast.
so
Same.
quick. Like if you ever encounter a boxer, like and you don't know how to box, like
Yeah.
I mean you're done. You know what I mean?
And I think that's
Like,
the biggest
there's-
thing. That's why a lot of people, until you've done it, you can't really respect it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like most
For
of the
sure.
negativity you hear around the boxing world, it's a lot of people that have never boxed.
Yeah,
So it's like they'll be like, "Oh, why doesn't he fight a real boxer?" La, la, la. It's like, bro, have you fought in a real box? Like, have you boxed? Like, it's crazy. Like, you know, you're not in your element. Like, it's like if you're fighting against a guy that's done it his whole life, you're gonna get smoked.
you're gonna get smoked. Yeah,
And
100%.
getting smoked in boxing hurts.
because they talk about like, oh, this guy has more power, this guy has more strength, more reach.
Yeah.
But if the other guy's been doing it for longer, it's way harder.
Yeah. Last thing, by the way,
Yeah.
have you seen the bare knuckle fights that people
Oh,
are
those
doing nowadays?
Insane, man.
Have
Yeah.
you seen
Like
those?
like on the street, like
No,
not
no,
on the
no,
street,
like-
but like
Like in the ring, like Bryce Hall went in
No, I
and did a
haven't
bare
seen
knuckle fight.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
seen those?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's
No,
a new
I've
association,
seen
like a
them?
new form
it's-
organization that
it's
does
like an-
bare knuckles only.
fuck.
That's crazy,
That's
dude.
dangerous.
That's actually super crazy.
It's
And he won
crazy,
that
man.
fight, and like they actually just go like bare knuckle, like they have like the wraps and stuff like that, like tape wrap, and they just go at it.
I thought power slap was crazy.
Power Slap was crazy. Have you seen that? Power Slap was,
I think Dana White owns it, right?
Yeah.
yeah, he
yeah.
started it up, and they have like a whole series on it. I think like the first season is on YouTube.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a pretty stupid sport, but it's
For
just
sure.
entertainment. You know what
for
I mean?
sure.
But
And I mean, if they're into it, they're into it.
if
you
they're
know?
into it, I
Yeah,
saw
sure.
like the first season. I mean, I was pretty entertained. Like, yeah, like the guys that go into it are like, they're not the brightest people, but you know, they're just trying to. I mean, there's a lot of money. To
There's
be made.
money. There's money to
According
be
to Dana,
made.
at least.
I think that's the biggest thing we forget sometimes. Like, although we're devout, I think especially when you're a sports like athlete, I guess we devote our lives to it, so we take it very seriously.
Mm.
But we have to remember at the end of the day, if you're doing it professionally, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
People are
Yep.
your money, your salary is coming from the fact that people
People want
want
to see you.
tickets,
Yeah.
they want to get entertained. So like, I think with any sport or anything, like it's like for the power slapping, for example, like people clown on it, but it's like you got to remember that like it's all the same game, you know, it's all entertainment, you know, like
Yeah.
and whatever gets the most eyes, you kind of have to do it, you know.
Yeah. Facts.
That's facts right there.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, I appreciate you coming on.
Nah, Rose.
By the
super
way,
dope.
Do you have any like anything you want to say before we sign off?
Nah, man, this is super dope. I mean,
Anything to
fun
plug?
experience.
Yeah, where can people
Yes.
find you? Where can people find your brand?
Yeah, 310 offsuit on Instagram.
Yep.
310 offsuit.
We'll put it down in the description.
And then just my Instagram's Eddie Grados.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
Appreciate
Awesome.
that. Hell
Sure, yeah. Thank you for
Here.
coming
Thanks,
on,
man.
bro. Yeah,
Thank you, bro. That was sick.
Hell
Awesome.
yeah. Thanks,
liked
Eddie.
it. Yeah. Dope.
Fuck yeah. How long did we go for?
An hour 30.
Hour 30.
No, an hour 20.
20.
Yeah.
Dude, we tried to record our last